Guys, welcome to the Alpha Test Comedy Show number 7. Woo! I'm one of your hosts, Paul Harrison.
I'm the other of your hosts, WES CORWIN.
Hold on, I have to yell at somebody. Cody, don't go in the back. Cody, get out of the back. Cody.
Back, Cody.
All right, he's out.
Cool, okay. No one go in the back. Anyway, welcome to the show. Let's give it up for this venue, Tribe Comics and Games. For letting us do this and giving everyone 10% off comic books. Because 10% off is better than 0% off. That's just math. It's just math.
That is just math.
How's it going, Wes?
It's going okay. I'm kind of dying.
That's cool. We're not good at host banner yet. This may be our 7th show, but we've never been good at that. We can try a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So, Wes, I hear your girlfriend's here.
Yes.
Oh. Mine's not. Because I don't have one. I think we should stop.
I'm very sorry about that.
You shouldn't be. It's my fault.
Sure was hot coming in here today.
Yes, the temperature was over 65 degrees.
How hot was it?
We should talk about the important thing with the hat.
Okay.
Pass the hat around.
Yeah.
All right, this is time to get serious, guys. No, really, time to get serious.
A comedian friend of ours, Aaron Arocha, went on vacation in Louisiana and was getting drunk over St. Patrick's Day weekend. And when other people were ready to call it a night, he decided he wanted to end his evening with some comedy. He was looking for an open mic, and that's when he blacked out and woke up in a hospital wearing the full halo. It turns out he fell down a staircase and blew out the L3 vertebrae in his spine. So we're gonna pass a hat around. We're trying to raise money for him.
I'm gonna actually pass it to the audience. Don't take any money out of it.
His
At least you're already getting money.
current bill is $20,000.
Wow.
So if you could put in between $1,000 and $2,000 per person. No, the thing is, like, he's got time to pay it off. We've currently, outside of this venue, raised about $600, and it's been like a week. So every little bit helps. We're just trying to help out a friend who is in some pretty bad.
Yeah, if you want to check out pictures or go to his GoFundMe page, you can go to getaaronsback.com, and that will take you to the GoFundMe page.
Because his back is...
Yes, because you should get it for him. Well, I think that's the perfect note to introduce our first comic. Your first comic was a semi-finalist in the Mishmash Mini Open Contest at Cap City Comedy Club. Anyone who was there will know why that's funny. He's been a contestant and funniest person in Austin. He was a semi-finalist in Fist.
Yeah.
He was a semi-finalist in the Funniest in South Texas. His album, the Tragedy album, will be available at some point in the future. Hopefully I didn't ruin that for him. He's your co-host of this very show, and his name is WES CORWIN.
Thanks. It's important when you open a comedy show. Like, I'm not just the first comic, I'm opening the entire proceedings for the evening. And when you do that, it's important that there's no momentum to ride. It's 100%. You've got to start fully on, here's who I am, here's what I do. So let's get right into it. I'm doing this as a comedian, so someday I can run a TV show in the same vein as Tosh.0 and Web Soup, exclusively comprised of YouTube clips. But instead of clips of like skateboarders landing on things with their testicles and like teenagers hitting things while they're drunk, I want my TV show made of YouTube clips to be exclusively YouTube clips of people breakdancing in parking lots, misjudging how much they need to jump to flip, falling on their head or neck, and losing the ability to walk. And I want the show to be called So You Thought You Could Dance. Hey, what's up? You gotta start strong. They just walked in. Should I do the joke again? No. We'll move along. I recently figured out how to tell people bad news. A lot of people develop theories on bad news. Like, you gotta go bad news, good news to leave them smiling, or good news, bad news to soften the blow, or good news, bad news, good news. Forget all those things. What you do, you take your bad news, you pour it into a glass of good news, you stir it in with some mixed direction, you throw it in their face, they have no idea what's going on. It's perfect. The other day, I walked to my kid sister and I said, "Hey, Lydia, put on your funeral clothes because I just murdered my economics test." But also a different reason. No, it's all good. Okay, how you doing? It's good to see you. I recently figured out what really bothers me about this world, and it's when people complain about video games. That weirds me out. And I don't mean like the old person, like, oh, people are throwing away their lives, like playing video games. I did so many cool things when I was young, and that's true. They did. But I subscribe to the opposite side of that, where nobody should be complaining about video games that are 100% entertainment. Like, video games were invented so that people who had like too much rent and were just sitting around depressed and like didn't have a good house could live in a world where they didn't have rent and like didn't have a house. Like, did you ever play Double Dragon? He beat up everybody, and then the credits would roll, and he'd just start beating up everybody. That's his life. He never goes home. That's just... I'm just saying, like, video games are great. Nobody should be complaining about video games. It's an entire universe, and you can use your creativity to change it how you please. There's no reason you shouldn't be enjoying it. Like, if there's a video game that's a platformer, and you're annoyed with the jumping, like you're slipping off too much, just pretend your character's drunk. It makes it so much better. Have you ever played Donkey Kong and just suddenly realized, oh, this is all an allegory. Mario's a drunk husband trying to get home. And Donkey Kong's his wife, and Pauline, the girl at the top, is what he wishes he had. And she's just throwing shit at him when he gets home, and he's like, oh, and he falls asleep. That's... The symbolism is clear, I think. If you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5, there's no reason not to enjoy Grand Theft Auto. And we all do the same running over people shit, but people get bored with it because it's like it's all violent all the time. How I fix it, I just pretend it's all a coherent story that I walked in halfway through. Like, I forgot to DVR something, and I was like, oh shit, and turned it on, and I'm 30 minutes into an hour-long episode of whatever. The other day, I hopped into a car, and I just started running people over, and I drove into an airport, which is a no-no. And I went out, I crashed through a thing in the airport, and there was a woman right in front of the window I crashed through, and we just went straight down into I was driving a fire truck, I'm sorry. That's a very important detail that I just spaced out the entire... So the fire truck, like, I feel like that's important because the car can just sit in the swimming pool. The fire truck is like up and like leaning, still partially in the airport. Which is funny to me because I imagine like there might be a seat and somebody like tries to hop in and reverse it after me, which is how you would get it out of the swimming pool, is what I think. Anyway, what I do, the woman that I ran over, I realize is pinned in the swimming pool under the fire truck. And this has been a seriously random series of events. And the way I fix it is my character swims out of the pool, I turn the camera down to the woman that's pinned under the fire truck, and I just say, now you won't hurt anyone else anymore. I'm like at the edge of my own seat, oh my gosh, what did she do to him? This is such a good show. Anyway, to wrap up my whole point about video games, like, there's no reason not to enjoy them. They're just constant fun. You can do anything up here to make the experience enjoyable, even if there's nothing to enjoy. Like, the thing that most of my friends complained about when I was like in first or second grade was Bowser from NES Super Mario Brothers, and everybody else was complaining about like, oh, he can throw fire and he can jump to the ceiling, and like if he lands, if your pixels are even this close, you die. You don't even have to touch him. It's so unfair. And all I was thinking was, how does a 5-foot-tall, 400-pound lizard have a 7-foot-tall vertical jump? Like, what's in his exercise? Is it calf raises? Is that what you have to do? Is that what I'm not doing? Like, I wanna do that. Like, I'm just, like, if you think about things, the things that you don't like are the funniest things. Like, has anybody here ever played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? Yeah. It's amazing. I want to tell you right now that my theory is the correct storyline ending of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is that Mike Tyson punches you in the first and just kills you, and you die. Because Little Mac is a giant racist asshole. I want you to know, if you think about Little Mac, like how people around, like he's got problems and he's perceiving the world around him through his own like frame, then he's fighting a bunch of multinational people and picturing them as the most horrible racist stereotypes. Oh man, I'm fighting an Indian guy and he's fast. He must be using a magic jewel in his hand. Fighting they didn't make the text any bigger, so the coach that's right next to him is talking, and then he's talking the same thing. So it's the same like whisper in your ear volume. So when Piston Honda is all like, "Oh, I'm from Tokyo, I take you," I just imagine like Piston Honda's actually like, "Fuck this guy." He's just saying, I don't talk like that, and I just imagine Little Mac is wearing the racist, the slip eyes. So, to wrap up my point, I was playing Diablo 3 the other day. This will be the last one. And I was getting mad, and I just ranted for a while about why you shouldn't get mad at video games, but I was dying on this boss. His name was Sorrow, Patron of the Mad. I died on this guy like 40 or 50 times, and I'm just terrible at Diablo. And it's the part where I was getting mad. I was like doing all the complaints I was just talking about. Like he can freeze me, and he just regenerates health. This isn't fair. This is bullshit. What am I? And right before I like said that aloud, like fuck, I went like, how do I know his name is Sorrow, Patron of the Mad? Because he didn't announce it when I walked in the room. He didn't go like, "You entered the lair of Sorrow, Patron of the Mad." And like he had friends there that were like fighting with him, and when I killed him, they dropped like gold and health orbs. But none of them dropped like business cards that said things like, "In the employ of Sorrow." And while we were in close quarters, he couldn't have like not said it loud enough for me to hear, but for the character, like, "Oh, sorry, I'm so bad at intro. Sorrow, Patron of the Mad. How are you doing? Thanks for coming." There's a lot of satanic imagery around. I hope you're comfortable. Because he couldn't have done that because he's a giant 12-foot-tall shrieking bat creature. And they're not good at intros. It's just constant. So I was thinking about it, and it got me through like 5 or 6 deaths, like trying to figure out this mystery, and I figured it out. Clearly, Sorrow and my character were friends in their younger days, and this is like a harrowing high school reunion kind of experience for my. He's looking at him. Wow, Sorrow hasn't changed a bit. He's still a giant 12-foot-tall shrieking bat creature. He's looking good though. He's sharpening the fangs. Like he's got his bat torso area like tuned up. He's looking. You know, I remember when we were at Camp Cheshire Wakiki together. The camp counselor, Bone Thresh Morrowind, was untangling his talons out of a lanyard, his freakish, twisted, demonic bat talons. And once he got free and it stopped crying because he was really scared he would be stuck there forever, he said, "Wes, I'm not gonna sell out like the rest of these chumps here at camp. No, sir. all these other people are gonna move on and get bosses. I'm never gonna have a boss. I'm gonna live in a labyrinth maze cave full of satanic imagery, and I'm gonna just feed on corpses and die with 16 gold on my person, because that's how an artist works. And he did, because when I killed him, 16 gold shot in the air and landed within 5 feet of him, so he did it. He never sold out. Did I sell out? I know. Like, he has his own boss. He has his own whole corner. He has 9 guys that look exactly like him that just follow him around and attack with him. I'm not my own boss. I've done 15 dungeons in a row for some 12-year-old child emperor ghost that doesn't have any of my battling experience. His dad just gave him the job. This is bullshit. Like, I started this mission as a monk, I guess. I was going for some spiritual, like, oneness or some shit, like, trying to learn something about the universe. Now all I do is I punch demons in the spine until they explode into blood. And then I pick through the blood for, like, rings of alacrity, whatever the fuck that means. I'll tell you, ever since I've been wearing them, I've been sleeping better. I don't know if those two are related, but don't get me wrong, it's lucrative. Like, when the devil starts opening portals from hell to earth, it's a looter's market, you know what I mean? But just, like, am I doing the right thing? I was a monk for 10 years. And I'm doing a job that someone with 4 years of education could be doing. Throwing away my monk degree on nothing. Like, am I wearing the chest plate and leggings? Like, are they just a giant corporate suit? Like, am I wearing these gauntlets because they're me, or because I do 0.4 more DPS per second than the identical gloves I always carry on me? Some people hear that joke, and they ask, why did you say any of that? It's so you know where I'm coming from when I say that I went to GameFAQs.com on the Diablo 3 page, and the top review on Diablo 3, 1 out of 10, story sucks. And in response, I wrote approximately a 450 paragraph essay detailing how Diablo 3 is literally a story about a man battling his own demons, inner and bat creature, where he belongs in a world, and should he be the person he wants to be or the person he needs to be. And I closed the review of his review by saying, and if you didn't get any of that high concept 12th grade symbolism, then you weren't drinking nearly as much as I was when I played the game. That's how I closed, telling off XX Sonic Fan 13. Just Ernest Hemingway's fathering him. Drink until you're more beautiful on the inside. I will not have my son being a hack. I'm not in a good place right now. How you guys doing? It's good to see you. Thanks for coming out. This is a weird question to ask, but where did I go wrong? At what part did I cross over? Thoughts? Yeah, well, no, the whole thing. The whole life thing I've done. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that for you.
Okay. I know what he's talking about too. I know where I went wrong. Thank you. I'm in a weird mood. Have any of you guys ever heard that thing that however long you're in a relationship, like that had a serious impact on your life? Like that's how long you had to get over the relationship? I watched a guy pee on a table for 45 seconds. And it's been like a month and a half. I'm still kind of I'm still kind of weirded out. Let me set up where I was exactly in the world. I was at a bar dealing with this. When you're rocking with this, you gotta run self-esteem maintenance every once in a while. When I was younger, I had like a Jiminy Cricket inner voice, like, "Come on, Wes, stiff upper lip. You can take on the world. Don't let him see you weak. You can do it, Wes." Like believing in me. And now my inner voice says things like, "Wes, you're fine. You got one face. You got one torso. There are babies in India being born with too many or not enough of those. You're doing okay. And in that moment, I was like, "Yeah, you're right, me. Nothing bad's gonna happen. I'm gonna do okay. I'm gonna have a couple more drinks and then I'm gonna leave." At that moment, a homeless guy that was sitting on the table in front of me got out of his seat, walked one table ahead of him. Hang on, the visual aid is important. Walked one table ahead of him, because you're looking at it from my angle, and just posted up like this. And it took me 10 seconds to figure out what that guy was doing, and 35 seconds to do nothing about it. I want you to realize the part where it fucked me up forever. It was the part where a split of a split second, just for a second, he made eye contact, like, and then right back to it. It really I was thinking about it. Do you ever think of the '92 Olympic basketball dream team, the one that was exclusively made up of like Clyde the Glide Drexler and Michael Jordan, and all in their heyday, and they were taking on like Czechoslovakians that had never once played the game, that like saw somebody carting like a cart full of basketballs and thought it was like a magic science fruit that they could use to feed their village. And then he walked onto the court, and somebody put a jersey on him, and Clyde the Glide Drexler just dunked on him 45 times. Like that's not the biggest moment in his life. Like his biggest moment was probably like hugging his daughter for the first time or something. But the moment in history that the most people will remember him for, there are probably posters in children's bedrooms of Clyde the Glide Drexler dunking and looking back on this poor Czechoslovakian guy, and I realized that's me in that moment. He's looking back just long enough for someone to take a mental picture of me getting beaten 1,000,000 times over at a game I didn't know I was playing. And it was the confidence. Here's the thing, I get it. If you have to pee indoors, like, yeah, fine. If you're too drunk to move, like, I can't judge anybody for fucking, but if I had to pee indoors, I would make a series of moves that never crossed this guy's mind for a moment. Not even, like, first off, legs apart. Make sure you have total, like that, you got total control. You can shift around, you got full rotation. And then you get close to the bar, right? The bar under the table. Look over there, everybody. The bar under the table, that's your goal. That's what you're aiming for. Look at, so the pee splits off naturally, and it doesn't coagulate. It just stays, and it's easy to clean up. And then you get out of that position, you tip your hat to the bartender, and then you never go back to that bar. Not this guy's style. Not feet together like he's shooting a shotgun. He took my advice for a split second, aiming for the bar, and then he had that moment, like you guys saw it when I was like this, that really happened. And he hit his shoe for a second and then hiked up. So it was all over the table, part of the table. With the technique of a professional boxer, just focused, and the precision of a Chili's waitress, just hitting every corner of the table with his lemonade drink, just fucking all over. That's what I'm trying to say. And then, once he was done, he sat down at the table that he'd just finished peeing on, and then went back to his sleeping position of on top of the table. And before that point, I didn't understand how terrorist attacks happened. I thought I had it figured out up here. There are 30 people on a bus, 60 people on a plane. Someone is gonna like get over the awkwardness of the situation and be like try to organize some kind of resistance. Me and a full Outback Steakhouse bar watched this guy pee on a table for 45 seconds. And I was the most proactive of the group. And all I did was walk to the other side of the Outback Steakhouse. That's been my time. Thank you very much.